morning. Good morning. I don't know if I'm live or not. There's an excellent connection, but it's not showing anything. I guess I'm live. I'm not really sure. Oh, there I am. Okay, I'm live. I see it now. All right. Okay. Good. So great. Anyway, good morning, everyone. How y'all doing on this fine and hopefully a sunny day? I feel like we're going to be moving forward today. But we're going to try and avoid some pitfalls and some stumbling blocks along the way. So, if y'all are ready, I hope you're ready for this new month. It is February. We're the second day. I didn't get to the first, but I will be picking that up. Also, I will, like I said, I'll be starting today doing the tarot part, and I will do cardinal signs today, fixed signs tomorrow, and mutable signs the day after that. Okay? So, there is, as a matter of fact, I will say the day is going to be ruled by Venus, so love is in the air. So, open your heart to receive it. Okay? And to also give it. It's your capacity to love today. So, let's show some compassion, to show love, let's show kindness. So, if you want to get that back in, then show it. Put it out there and put it into the air, let it go, and let it come back to you. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, okay. You done your part to humanity. And you're trying to have a wonderful, wonderful day. So if y'all are ready, we will go ahead and start on the, I got my coffee this morning. Right now it's 6:39 a.m. here. So I'm getting started before the sun even rises, and that's exactly where we're going to start in astrology, is when the sun rises. We're going to start that every day. I'm going to go into where the sun rises, the sun sets, the moon rises, and then tomorrow, part of the, where the sun sets as well. Coffee's good this morning. I need it bad, y'all. Bad. So I'm trying to get myself back together again. But like I said, I've got a few things to do this morning after I do this. So once I get those done, then look for today of the cardinal signs coming out, okay? All right, so y'all ready to jump into the astrology part? I hope y'all liking this. Just, Valentine's Day, feel the love, give the love, receive the love, and pass it along. Let's jump over into the astrology. And we start with the sunrise at 7:20 a.m. this morning, Eastern Standard Time. It will be a little later on the West Coast, of course. The universal time you take from my time when the sun rises, okay, at 7:20, and you go back minus 5 hours, and that will collaborate with your time, all right? If you know your time, your area. Remember, this is Eastern Standard Time. Got to adjust your time to it. I also added another little thing here that you can see and kind of follow along. I am going to change something here in a minute. Y'all give me a second. Where is that thing? There it is. Right there. Okay, I am going to change something as we go through. I'm going to do a little different, okay? With the astrology, I'm going to follow the ascending for the day. So the ascending is going to be in the first house the whole time. So this is going to let us know where things are coming up. So let me go. I'm going to do like I did before. And I'm going to change it since the sun is setting in Aquarius right now. We're talking about the sun rising at 7:20 this morning. And so Aquarius would be at 300 degrees. And we'll go ahead and go there. And we'll bring it around. Only thing I didn't set before I started. So, you can see where the ascending is. Good coffee, good coffee. There's no major aspects on this. We do have where yesterday, which I will go ahead and put that in because I don't want to miss the daily things. That yesterday the moon where is it? Okay. The moon moved into Scorpio yesterday at 1:36 in the afternoon my time. Right? No, I'm sorry. It was 3. I don't know why I get the 13th and the 15th turned around. I mean, 15, number 15, military time, 13 military time. 13 military time is like 1 o'clock. 15 military time is 3 o'clock. So it's around yesterday at, am I looking at, okay, here we go. I see it now. All right, it moved into Scorpio yesterday at 3:36. So we started the process of the moon going there and being there, and now that energy of what our emotions, what we feel, our mental, our emotional attitude, and uh-oh. I thought I was prepared this morning, but I guess I don't know what's wrong with me. I got too much on my mind. I got a million things on my mind right now of what I'm doing here, and what I gotta do. So forgive me, if you will. Bear with me. So anyway, with the moon going into Scorpio right now, Scorpio is that sign of ruled by Mars and also by Pluto. And it's in the 10th house right now. So this would be about our emotions and our mental attitude when we get up this morning, and how we're going to express those things, how we express our purpose today and every day, really, with the moon wherever it is, and through our activities, and we're gonna express those in our habits, our attitudes, what we may be feeling, a general mood, and how you're adapting to the environment throughout the day, okay? Or during why it's in Scorpio, because it's not going to be there very long, okay? So, big thing is with this moon. Now, with the moon being in Scorpio, that 10th house, could be about the career for you Aquariuses, since this is the ascending. We start the day off, wherever Aquarius is in your house, or in your chart. I don't want to say in your house, but in your chart, where it might place. That's why I said it's so important to have your chart, know your chart, know where these signs sit in your chart. But with the sun, and it is Aquarius season, life has, seasons in it. And we're going through a season as well. I'm not doing individually. I will look at the charts when I do the signs individually. And this just happens to be, with Aquarius, a fixed sign, meaning that there is this thing, maybe you express yourself through your activities, and you kind of fixed in your emotions, or you've got fixed attitudes that maybe you might need to change something there. And you have fixed habits. You got a general mood. Maybe you're the same all the way, all the time, And I hope you're not one of those people that people see you coming and they go, oh, shit, here they come again. But anyway, maybe there's some things you might need to change about you, wherever Aquarius sits in your house. But it is the ascending, and mostly what I'm focusing on is what is ascending, what sign, and what's in that sign, and how it focuses in the self. I hope you're following me with this. All right. What I'm saying here is I'm looking at the first house, which is the house of self. So something about you, wherever your self is, and this sun comes up, all right, at your time, there's something here that you may need to change, because you do have Pluto in there, and the moon being in Scorpio, there could be something here about your emotions and how you show your purpose in your everyday activities. Now, the purpose is the sun, your life purpose. What are you here for? And so right now you're in this season of the sun being in Aquarius, which Aquarius is all about what we know. So what do you know, or you think you know, because, you know, it's air, it's linked, or you have a balance of information of what you know, which the air signs kind of go together there, because it's all about mental thoughts and communications, each and every one of them. Are you getting balanced information, fair information? Are you putting out fair information at sunrise this morning? You know, you listen, you get up. A lot of people get up in the morning and they get their coffee. They look at the daily news. They might read their astrology charts. They might look and see what the day's like. Okay, let's just see what's going on. What am I going to be dealing with? So right now, this moon is in a square because the sun is conjunct with the ascending. All right. Knowing it's coming up, it's all about my purpose for today. What am I going to do? What kind of attitude am I going to have? Emotional. This is where the moon comes in. So there's a square about your emotions, about maybe your job, or what you desire here. Because Scorpio is about what we desire to get accomplished in moving forward. But we got to maybe adjust our attitudes today. We got to be more, with Venus ruling the day. Like, I forgot to tell y'all. I did add in here, let me keep getting to increase this chart so I can see it better. If you'll look up here in the corner, you will see I have the day. So that is the ruler of the day. That's the ruler of the night. And this is the hour. You can see of the day, we're at the 24th hour. And we can see that in the 24th hour, the sun is ruling this darkness of the night, because it's still dark here where I'm at. Okay? Because the sun's not coming up till 7:20. When it does, it'll be in the first hour of the day. The day will be ruled. You'll only be seeing the day here by Venus. And that is our capacity to love and something about your values. And the sign where Venus sets as this ascending, because it's already gone, the ascending's already been through here in Capricorn this morning. And Venus is sitting in Capricorn. So wherever Capricorn may be in your chart and Venus being there, then it's dealing with something. But it's your capacity to love. And it's about your values. Now, Capricorn is sort of that sign of what we can control. And maybe you may need to control some of your emotions. Because what I'm seeing here is this is ascending. This moon, with the sun being conjunct with the ascending of it coming up, and it's pushing, you know, it just went past Pluto as well, and we know what Pluto is. This could be a very transformational day. You could take a point and all of a sudden make it change. You can change your whole life starting today, if that's what you want. About what you know. Are you getting information? Are you putting out balanced information, not gossip, because let's stay away from gossip. That does nothing but create chaos. We're still dealing with Jupiter right now. And Jupiter is in Taurus, as you can see right there. And it's like in the home area of the chart. So, and it may be wherever, like I said, but this is about the self and something of it being, you could take this day and make it a very transformational day just by having the capacity to love and checking your values and living by your by values. I mean, if you don't have values, then I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you. There's only one thing in this world that can ever help you, and that can be the Almighty above, the divine, if you don't have values. So check your values, because something here could really change it. And it could change it for the better. And you could make this very transformational day. So that's where we are starting this morning. But the moon is in a square to both the ascending and the sun at this time, when the sun comes up at 7:20. So there's sort of a challenge of getting up, getting motivated, finding what your purpose is today, and let's make this change. Like some people, I don't like the people that, if you get up out of the bed and you sit up on the side of the bed in the morning and you all of a sudden immediately think, oh, hell, what's it going to be like today? I don't know what you're going through emotionally here, but you can definitely change your values and your outlook by changing your thought processes. When you wake up, change the way you think. Our thoughts can influence our emotions. It can make us moody. It can make us, negative thoughts can put us through stress and everything else. But it's about here that now, waking up this morning, you can transform this day. Now, the next thing we're going to happen, there's no major aspects at this time that I'm looking at, okay? None. When the sun rises, there's no major aspects other than it's like, oh gosh, it's Friday. Some people could be excited about it. Well, I'm getting my paycheck, but it's the first of the month and I got to pay bills. Like me yesterday, I looked at things and I saw my light bill. Everybody's probably seeing their light bills right now and going, oh my God, it's a shocker, right? Wow. We do have the nodes going direct, so that's good. That's good. Emotionally, we need to be moving forward. Don't be, in this fantasy or whatever it is, you're still dealing with something maybe of some past trauma. You should have already done something there and let that go. But the nodes are going to be for 11 hours exactly right now at this time. They are going to be direct for the next 11 hours, and then they're going to go retrograde, because through the day, okay, the funny thing about the nodes, they're connected to the lunar. That's why they're called lunar nodes. They're connected to the moon. They're connected to our emotions. It's where we are at this point in time in the universe, or what's going on in the universe, that is something in our environment, whatever, daily life, season, whatever, that we're dealing with. And they were retrograde, but for the next 11 hours, you could make some sort of really transformational change in your life. It's up to you. It's how you address challenges, stumbling blocks, whatever it is, even just getting out of the bed with a good mindset. That's what it's all about. And working through the day of saying, hey, I'm not going to let something get me down here. And this is where you should be. Now, as this moves, so will the midheaven, which is where we are. You know, this moon being in Scorpio is something about what we desire to get, whatever the purpose in our life is today. Like with me, I said I have some things I got to do, and then I'll get back and get started. But it's what the purpose is. What are you trying to accomplish today? And what are you moving forward to? But right at this time when the sun comes up, there's nothing major. And everything's moving forward, except we're still reviewing what is our purpose. We're reassessing our purpose. What are we devoting ourselves to? You know, there's people out there just living everyday life and they don't have a purpose. They don't have a goal. They're not really dedicated to anything. Are you working towards some goal or some plans or what your aspirations are here? Are you working toward that? Are you thinking about it? Are you reassessing it? I know that's another thing I'm working on. What are my goals in the future now? Because my life has already been altered. My life has already changed. So where am I going to now? I'm in a season of my life at 65 years old that my life has changed dramatically. I am independent. I am alone. Not really. I'm not really alone because God's always with me. So, you know, and I let, if I have something major, I put it in his hands. And I'm sure he will come. I know he will. I know he will tell me you're going in the wrong direction. Slow down, especially with this being with Mars, in a quincunx with Mars. All right? Or Mars being in a quincunx with Vista. You really want this goal. You really aspire to do something here. But guess what? There's something that's not in sync. And you're having to reassess your actions and how you're trying to go at this. Mars is aggressive. It wants to go. It wants to get it done, get it, you know, achieve it, accomplish it, whatever that it's trying to do here. In some way, in your purpose. Because as you can see, Mars is in this third decan, and what's there is the sun. So your life's purpose today, what you want to get done. And in the term belt, where's Mars? Venus is ruling the day. Starting out a lot with Venus this morning. And that's your capacity to love what you're going toward here. But I gotta say, Mars can be a little too aggressive. And that's why we're having the quincunx here, because I don't think you got your plans together. You're not, you know, you really need, when things are showing retrograde, you need to reevaluate, reconsider, reassess something here. Because there's something here with this square from Vista over to Neptune direct, which is ruling its own house. It is the only planet right now that is in the house that I'm looking at so far that actually rules the sign that it's in. So whatever you're trying to create here, be cautious with Neptune when it comes to anything that's you're trying to be flamboyant, glamorous, and you know, and have some illusions about what you're going to create. Recheck your plan. Because right now, you may think things are going good and you may be feeling good about it, but there is something here that I don't think you're really facing it, because Neptune is in a square with Vista. So there could be some stumbling blocks here that says, hey, you need to look at something here. You need to look at your plan, because the energies of what you're trying to do is not matching up with your plan and your goal. So you're going to have some sort of courage which comes with that sun that's ascending this morning to face something and make a decision. And stick to it. Because we got two quincunxes here. Because with Uranus and the sun and Pluto being in Uranus's house and Saturn's house of Aquarius, because Saturn rules that as well. It co-rules with Uranus. Or Uranus co-rules with Saturn. You know, Saturn is kind of known as the father or the boss or the controller. And Uranus is more like, well, the youthful energy, the younger generation in some way that you may be dealing with, and they're radical and they go off in a different direction, or they resist against limitations and restrictions. So you may be dealing with something here where you're going to have the courage to step up with something from the past here. And I guess, again, with this Uranus in the second decan, where the moon is, we see the moon up here. It's dealing with Mars, it's dealing with Venus. And it's in that turn belt with Jupiter, which is right there coming at it. It's a divine energy. Handle something here and talk maybe in a very compassionate way. Open yourself up. Something about maybe your values, because Taurus is about our values, our possessions, our self-worth. You know, maybe, you could be something you mix in here with, in society, that you hope you don't create some sort of karma going on here, but you got to have the courage to make a decision here about something with the past. And Uranus will create unexpected things. You might be expecting to do this, and all of a sudden, boom, Uranus comes in and just changes and everything, and it's direct now, and it's really, a swift kick in the butt, and what's coming, it just comes out of nowhere, and you weren't expecting it at all. I mean, it happened to me the other day, I would have never thought in a million years, the news that I got. It's kind of shocking. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. That come way out of left field. That's Uranus. I got a phone call, blah, blah, blah. Here it is. And I'm like, okay. I guess it is here, huh? So the next thing we have at 9:20, between 7:20 and 9:20, we have Neptune that's in a square. And you can see it, the T-square forms, because Neptune started in this square with Vista. So for the first couple of hours this morning, it's about your purpose. Now, let's go to the ascending, and let's change it. And let's see, where is that ascending? It's in Pisces. So Pisces is that last sign, which can create some, loss or karma. Because maybe what your illusion is of something, or what you think something is not as glamorous as you thought it was. And with this, there we go. Switch over. The aspect this is creating, now if I go to the T-square over here and show you, we do, like I said, if I take it off and we're looking at it, Neptune's squaring, it's getting this T-square, and what it is, it's squaring the midheaven, and it's also squaring or your purpose, because the ascendant is conjunct with Neptune. Both of these energies combined is feeding in to your purpose here. Have you really thought something through here today? So, again, this has a lot to do with Neptune being this aspect of it. I mean, it's the apex of it, of the T-square, creating this. What illusion is being created here? That maybe you need to, with Sagittarius, is what we seek. What are you seeking here? Fire and water kind of don't really mix here. We're talking about mutable signs as well. You're trying to survive something here that is kind of a challenge for you, and how you handle this challenge is going to show what you're like on the inside. And what your whole purpose is here about. So we do have the T-square here, that Pluto joined with the ascending is coming up. Could be some limitations, restrictions. Could be some karma happening here, for sure. And it's going to affect what your purpose is. Today, at this time, at 9, what did I say, 9:20? Yeah, 9:20 this morning. My time. So, that's why it's saying something here about, you really need to readjust something here and really look at something about what you're trying to do. Because you may be causing karma for yourself and don't even realize you're doing it. Now, like I said, and I told you, I put this up here so you can see that the day is being ruled by Venus, and it's the 3rd hour of the day, and it's dealing with the moon. So the moon is important here. You need to activate that Venus energy with your mind, thinking positive about your attitudes or about your values or about love or whatever it is for your fellow person. And where Venus is sitting at is in the 11th house. This could be about society in general, being more compassionate towards society, or not being so negative about society. Because, I mean, we all know that things are coming out of the dark. And I always said, what is done in the dark will never stay there. And if y'all, wherever you get your news from, whether it be YouTube, I don't go on TikTok. I don't mess with any of that. Rumbles, any of the social medias, or your news outlets, or I don't think a lot of people read. I mean, the older generation definitely probably still reads newspapers, but then you can't really trust them. But there's a lot of stuff coming out now that's been done in the dark, that is really the focus, not only here in our country, but it's going to affect other countries as well. That could have an impact on us. I mean, we're looking at society. I mean, last couple of days I've seen stuff that's like, wow. I mean, just really, is this really happening here? It's really hard to believe it, and people are justifying it. It's just mind blowing to me. The next thing we have here at 10:20 this morning that we're going to go through is we have the moon still squaring the sun. It's at 9 degrees. There's something here about some tension. I would say tension, stumbling blocks. But what is creating is this trapezoid. But I'll show you. And you can see it here. And this moon is sextiling over to the midheaven, which is conjoining with Venus. It's like bringing something to the awareness of where we're at right now and what's going on here all over the world. that we need to, with the sextiles, is we need to show there's opportunity for productivity and success. But how do we get there? In order to get to what we aspire to be, or plans that we may be trying to do, or our goals that we want to reach, we got to be devoted to it. We got to have that spiritual devotion to whatever the cause is, the project is, or the person or the belief. And I got to caution you with, excuse me, get out of there. You're causing a lot of unnecessary racket. Stop it. But things could be not what they seem. And that's where Uranus comes in with something out of the past that just is mind-boggling. I mean, it's like shock and awe, and that's exactly what Uranus does. It's the shock and awe. It's like, where in the heck did that come from? Well, it was something that was probably done in the dark, or something you thought was great and grand, really glamorous, and, gave you this illusion of, oh, yeah, this is great. But is it real? Because glamour and illusions create negative and creates the negativity, which is where we get the negative thoughts and ideals from. Everybody is not the same. If you've been in a bad relationship or a bad job, all jobs are not bad. All relationships are not bad. You can't blame all societal of men if you're a woman and you've been hurt real bad. You cannot judge every man on what was done to you before. You cannot judge all women on what some women do. And I have seen where women do that. They judge all men on the same because of one person. You gotta just don't lock your heart away. Don't let things in this world that are going on that are so bad in your life turn you off to love, to giving it or receiving it. Just wanting you to pay attention to where the negativity is. And when it is there, either remove yourself from it or change the way you think. It's like, I'll give you another fine example on this. I heard somebody on the radio yesterday, and this guy was this host of this radio thing or whatever. He was giving this woman the dickens because she called in and says, why don't you ever say anything about men that's not paid deadbeat dads and blah, blah, blah. And he was just over talking her, which was kind of rude because he wasn't really giving her a chance. And he didn't get the whole story, but she said, well, I was in a 2-year abusive relationship. And he said, well, you stayed in it for 2 years? It took you 2 years to realize how abusive it was? See, these are the red flags. When you get one flag, you gotta really look at that and say, hey, what the heck is going on here? She's like, well, he was never abusive to me when we were dating. Now he's a deadbeat. And the guy was just hammering her with, hey, you stayed in this for 2 years. It took you 2 years to realize, and then you had a child with this person? I mean, come on, you knew then he was going to be a deadbeat dad. Or if you get involved with a woman, and she's like, oh, I need this, I need that. And she's working and she's not providing for her own personal needs, but yet she wants somebody else, to pay all the bills, buy the groceries, do all this, do all that. And then she wants you to pay for her to go get her hair done, her nails done. Oh, I want this dress. I want this handbag, these shoes. you know, but she's working too, but she's not providing for her own little self. Maybe in what little necessities that are needed around the house. She's, or maybe, paying all that, but she's not helping providing for little, unforeseen things that come up in the house. She's not contributing financially there as well. So, you know what? If you're involved with a gold digger and you're seeing this, and that's all she cares about, this is where guys are getting turned off to women. They want a guy to pay for their boob job. Why? Why would you want that, women? Well, I ain't got no, I just want to look, this, that. You were created the way you were for a reason. There's things you can do to make it better. You don't have to go out there and expect somebody to pay for your boob job or your butt implants or whatever this. You're too much into the celebrity thing and what all's going on there. You're getting caught into this trap. And you need to get out of it. And some people get complacent. They stay in it. But then when they realize, well, I'm not happy here. But you've been in it for 2 years. You've been in it 5 years. You've been in it 10 years. When is it going to take you to wake up and realize that, hey, and have this talk first in the relationship? I always say, have the talk in the relationship. If the other person is not willing to talk and does not communicate with you, that's a flag. They don't want to address it because they don't care. That's your flag there. They don't care. If they cared and you came to them and said, what is going on here? I've noticed changes. I'm seeing something change here. What is happening? And the trapezoid is don't get complacent. Because you're going to feel this. And if you want success in your life at this time right now, then you got to address something here. If something's not meeting the desires of what it is, or is trying to control you. It's trying to put this little net over you. Another thing too, there's a time when women, and it's still going on, ask a lot of judges that sit in family courts, have to deal with family issues, where women will trap men by getting pregnant, and they think, wow, I got him now. No, you don't. And if it don't work out, then I'll just go get an abortion. Why weren't you using something? Why weren't you using some sort of protection to make sure that you weren't going to get caught in a trap here? I'm talking to the younger generation here. And this thing about, well, it's my body, my rights. Not if you're irresponsible. You're so irresponsible, you can't use protection. Then what is your purpose here, your means? Is to trap somebody? To take care of you? Are you so codependent on someone else that you can't open your mind, you can't learn? You don't want to work for anything? You have no values about yourself? See what I'm saying? But there's something here where, starts out with the midheaven, where you are right now, this conjunction with Venus that's feeding into this, that's going straight over to Saturn. Somebody's creating some karma here. Saturn's also about justice as well. It's also about authority. It's about limitations. It's about reorganization, restructuring. And we all know that our judicial system is, I dealt with it, went through it 7 years, and I saw how screwed up it was. I'd never seen anything like this. Like my mom called it, it's like a circus court. Kangaroo court's what she said. She couldn't even believe it. And I couldn't believe it I was going through this. But then I know why. Because the justice system needs to be overhauled. Really does. And we're hearing it on the news. Something here with this society is not going to put up with this kangaroo court, this deception, this darkness done within behind closed door deals. We already see that in our Congress where people are saying we're tired of the backroom deals. We want it out on the floor. We want to know our constituents, our people. The society wants to know what we're doing, how we're handling their money. Same thing in a home, in a household. Everybody should be knowing where the money's going. You should be working it together for the good of the whole family. In your home or for your relationship to be stronger. There is no this giving just half and half. You got to give 100%. And I just don't get it or understand it where people get excited about their young children. I don't care, 18, 20 years old. That's still too young to be parents. Now, you ain't even old enough to go to war. I mean, well, you are. At 18, you can sign up and enlist, but you can't smoke, you can't drink. There's a lot of things you can't do till you hit 21. So, I mean, just don't get it. But there's this opposition where society is tired of being in the dark. They desire to know the truth. They want to see it. They don't want to be caught in this trap anymore. And I'm telling you, people are getting fed up with it. And they're going to start really being outspoken. People are tired of getting done dirty when they're trying to do the right thing and try to help others. I mean, that came out yesterday too. I was like, oh my God. And we had the moon here in a trine. Don't go along. Just don't go along with something here. If you're in a courtroom situation and you see something's not right, know the laws. Whatever situation you're going through legally, there's no excuse that you can't find out what the laws are. Because a judge, in the end, will sit there and tell you there's no excuse for ignorance of the law, and they are correctly right. There is no ignorance of not being able to know the law, to know what your limitations are and your restrictions are. If you're building a house, guess what? You've got regulations you got to go through. You got to go through inspections. Every little process has got to be done, right? Well, there's limits. There's restrictions. You start the foundation, it's got to be inspected before you can go any further. Every little thing has a limit and regulation to it. And if you don't follow it, then guess what? You don't pass. You don't get to go and collect $200. Don't just go along with shit, folks. So when you're dealing with anything right here, you can create good karma or you can create bad karma. It is totally up to you. But with this and the ascending being in the second house, I don't know if I changed it or not, or where that was. I should have moved that over to Aries. Yeah, I gotta remember. Well, I'm not. All right, there's the ascending where it is at this time. At 10:20. Okay, yeah, I should have moved it. But it did create the trapezoid. Still the same thing. It's still the moon. And it's in what we desire here. But there may be some restrictions and some limitations to what you can do morally. And Jupiter in a trine over here to the midheaven, and the opposition between Jupiter and the moon and Jupiter. You want something to expand. You want it to grow, right? Well, if it's not growing, then you're not putting the emotion into it, or you're not putting the dedication to it. You're not feeling it. And it's not meeting your goals. It's not meeting your plans. It's not meeting your aspirations. And this is where you've got to make the decision and have that courage to say, hey, I've got to do something about this, because it just don't feel comfortable. And I just don't feel it. Anytime you're feeling that energy, number one, there's a red flag somewhere. And it has to do with those squares that's challenged you to see something here and do something about it. When you see an inconjunct or a quincunx, which is that little brown dotted line, something's not matching here. It's not working. So why are you letting yourself get caught into something here? All right, let's go back to what the aspects are for the day. Now we got the moon in a T-square, and we have Taurus. Okay, so here's where we got to check our values. Okay, because we have the ascending in Taurus now in the first house. It's about our self-worth. It's about our values. And the moon is in this T-square. Now let's go over to the aspects that it's creating with the sun. The sun is at the apex. It's your purpose in life. Either in your job, your career, what you're thinking. Is it going to grow? Am I going to grow in this company? Is my job going to be secured? I don't know. But there's negative thought, negative purpose there. You just don't feel it. There's something here. Not right. Not good. It's not matching. And y'all got to realize too, Mars tries to match up with our mind. Remember, the mind tells the body to do something, and so you do it. But over the next 11 hours, you may be moving forward. It's time to kind of, Saturn kind of tries to put the brakes on things as well, too, to get you to slow down before you have an accident. It's like driving a car. Jupiter's known as the gas pedal. You're going forward. You want to go on past the horizons. You want to increase maybe your bank account, eat better food, do all these things. You want better, right? But then Saturn says, hey, Saturn slows things down, says, maybe you shouldn't have this, or maybe you shouldn't, do this. But there's something here with the moon, the sun, your purpose, squaring out to what you feel emotionally and what's coming up, that, hey, I don't feel like this is, we're talking about what we desire to what we know to what we have. We have our values, but we desire something that we know we want. How do we get that? So here you're being challenged with this T-square, with what is the purpose? What is your purpose at this? And the hour is being ruled by Jupiter, as you can see right up there in the corner. And it's the 5th hour of the day. Because come tomorrow, or after the 11th hour, Okay? These nodes are going to go retrograde again. And you're going to be sitting here rethinking what you did. Did I do what I needed to get done? Maybe sitting in the evening thinking about this. Did I accomplish something here? How did I handle something that was difficult? And it shows what you're like on the inside when you deal with these. And that's what I said about moving forward today. Let's go back. We got the moon in T-square. Again. The ascending's getting ready to leave Taurus. So it's something about our values. It's about what we have. And Uranus, again, a sudden change. Something from the past you weren't expecting. And it's affecting whatever your purpose is here. But the aspects that it's created, I know you said, well, moon's still in Scorpio, and it's an hour later. Yeah. Well, things can happen a lot in an hour. Because now what's at the apex is the midheaven, where you are in your life right now. And what is your purpose? You may be questioning this. What is it I really desire here? In my 7th house. In relationship. Am I getting what I need out of something here? Whether it be a business, a partnership, is the partnership going to grow? Is it going to expand? Am I putting too much of what I have into something here that's not going anywhere? Because the opposition is that it emotionally, something here is not growing. And you go back and look at what the energies have been in the past, where we had the mystic rectangle, which is Lucifer's rectangle. A lot of deception, a lot of stuff going on. T-squares all over the place. Trying to move this direction or that direction. You're just trying to trapezoids. I mean, remember them? Go look back in January's aspects and see what was going on. We're trying to work through this and get out of these traps. And somewhere in the life right now is you got to do it, because if you don't do it and you're not being authentic who you should be, and you're playing these silly little games, Pluto's going to knock the shit out of you. It will have you down on your knees begging, Lord Jesus Christ, get me through this. Lift me up. Because I have been there. I mean, I have been there at the bottom. First time in my life I had ever been like that, at that position. I mean, I went through some hard stuff in my life. I didn't, like I said, I really didn't have a childhood. 7 years old, I was like, that's it. Your childhood's over. You got to grow up. You're not a baby anymore. Come on. I mean, that was the realization of it. And we're looking at this hour right now, at this time, that this is dealing with Mars. You're going to have to take some action here. Now, the key, I love that key. Don't lose the key, because the 12th house is usually something of a loss. All right? You may lose something you have in a relationship. You may be losing it. It may be moving on. Somebody could be moving on out of your life because you didn't do anything about it. And they're gone. And when they're gone, they're gone. Now, some of you may want that. But then others of you may not want it to move on. Maybe it was the best thing you ever had and you screwed it up. So you got to ask yourself that. Am I growing or expanding in whatever this is? You got to ask yourself. I mean, so let's go to the next one. What we got here? We got a grand trine going on because the ascending now is in Gemini. We're using our mind. Good. We need to. So, let me move this over a minute. And so now what's coming up is Gemini. And what's ascending is our purpose. And it's creating something here with Venus, because this hour is ruled by the sun, our purpose, the grand trine, that we want to accomplish something here. But are we moving in the right direction? And how are we going there? So let's look at the aspects that this is creating. Number one, we got the cell here. We see there's a sextile from the sun that's going on here to the north node, our future. We're all supposed to be going toward our purpose in the future. What is your purpose here? And if you don't know it, you better get a grip on it, because the north node is sextiling what here you should be reassessing something about your purpose. And it has something here to do with the south node, the past. The apex of this is the north node. And it's what is your purpose? You should be reassessing something here and going toward it. But it has something from the past. You're either leaving something behind and moving on. If that be the case, fine. If you know what it is you really truly want. But it's going to affect this. Because it's reevaluating. That's the only thing we've got right now that is retrograde. And it's going to be retrograde until this month. Let me give you the date. If I can find. All right. On the 8th, Vista will be going direct, and it'll be moving right back toward Cancer. And it's going to say, how do you feel about this now? How's this making you feel? You feel emotionally secure with this? Are you moving in the right direction? Are you bringing something from the past along with you, or want it there in your future? Or are you making some negative action here that's going to affect? Think about it. What is it you want to devote yourself to, and that you really want to move forward to? What is it really you're seeking here in your soul purpose in life? But right now, I'm seeing some negativity here going on. You're not quite sure. Do I leave something from the past? Or is there something here that was successful in the past that can still be successful in a victory in the future? And Chiron is right there. And this is going to move and link up with this Chiron. Or Chiron's going to link up with it. And go to 17 degrees. And you will have success if you unlock something here. Because I always look at the key. If you notice, if you look at the Taurus card, okay, which is the Hierophant, there's two keys that are crossed. And it looks just like Chiron. The symbol, the icon for Chiron. And what it is like the keys. You both have the keys to unlock something of the future here that can be victorious and successful. Or you can throw the keys away. It's totally, you've got free will. How bad do you really want this? Because it's sitting in Aries, which is ruled by Mars. And the sun gets exalted when it gets there. This could be a whole new beginning. It's up to you. You can alter your life and change it forever. The next cell we have, now we have a trine here. That's saying with the ascending, really, look at what you are doing here. What is it you're going to want to devote yourself to? What is it you're dragging along with you to the past, or from the past with the future? Who are you taking along with you there? It's all about, where you're going. The next thing we have in this next cell, now, this is where it gets intense. It's like you're building your cell to move forward, right? Because remember, here we just had the outer side, right? Now all of a sudden you feel sort of comfortable here because it feels like you're easily moving towards something, but there's still something negative here. You're kind of going along with something here, and there is this grand trine here. You feel like you're going in the right direction, really actively thinking, maybe I should unlock that or free myself from something. Maybe, if it's change, you want to unlock the chain, the bondage you're in. And then all of a sudden we move to this, and now it's with Chiron. And this is where, with the opposition, you got to give a little bit. It's like when it's a quincunx or an inconjunct, you got to make a decision. And you got to act upon that decision, and you got to have the courage to do something there. When it's an opposition, okay, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be successful, but it's the capacity for your awareness and being objectivity at it to compromise in some way. And it's like consciously awakening and facing something of your past that is good for your future. Like the universe is giving you a message here. This would be great for your future. But you've got to be proactive, and you've got to think positive about it. And you got to put the effort in. And it's consciously facing, being awakened and facing something in relationships that all of a sudden it's illuminating that sun. Your purpose is showing you something as it gets closer and closer to Vista that you need to devote yourself to something here. That it can be very successful for your future. And what it creates is the grand trine. It does meet with your soul purpose in life. But there's some things you still got to do here. You got to, number one, you got to get out of the gloom and the doom. There's an opportunity there to unlock something, a door, or unlock a chain that you're chained to. And that ninth house is, you got to seek this out. The ninth house is all about seeking out that soul purpose of something for the self, of what you desire, what you want to devote yourself to. What are you devoted to? And be real with yourself. If it's to a relationship, great. If it's to a job, great. But you got to be proactive. You got to look at it not in an illusion or glamorize it, but look at it for what it is. Like relationships. All relationships are not grand. And we're talking about the 7th hour, and the sun here is really, really illuminating something for you to see. And if you still got the blindfolds on, you still in confusion, you still don't know what you want to do, and you don't know what this and that. I mean, I've heard these people, and when I start hearing people talk like that, I got to get the hell away from them. Because you know what? When you get around people in that mindset or that attitude, it's going to bring you down too. They're going to drag you right along with them. If they're filling you with some dreams and illusions that has nothing to do with your sole purpose in life, sure, everything's got limits and restrictions. We're not all just free. I've heard a lot about, slavery and all this and that. We're a slave every day. We're a slave to our jobs. We're a slave to earn money. We're a slave to this. Things we got to do. I've got things I've got to do today. I don't want to do them, but I got to do them. I'd rather sit here and be with y'all all day long. But I'm not going to be, that's not possible. Because I love what I do. But I got to be realistic. I've got bills to pay. And I get hungry. I got to eat. Or I get sick to my stomach. So, I get nervous if I have too much sugar or something like that. And I can't deal with it. So, you only got 4 more hours in this day before, things start going toward in the evening. Now let's go back to the next thing that's going on. And we'll see where the ascending is. And it's finishing up in Gemini, but it's in a quincunx. And so is Vista. And it has to do with Mercury being in conjunction with Mars of what action you're going to take. You're either going to close the cycle out or you're going to do something here. But something is hitting its peak, I can tell you that. And also Mercury being in conjunct with Pluto is caught right in the middle of it. Are you being real and honest? And the hour that you're dealing with here is Venus. It's about the capacity to love. Are you controlling something here, or are you being controlled? Are you being manipulated? Is it not growing? Is it not moving? What is it? What is it you desire here? And this is a stellium of energy, because Mercury pulling off this energy of Pluto is dragging it right into here. Don't just settle in something. If you're not happy and it's creating the square to what you feel, to what your purpose is, and it doesn't just feel like you're in opposition to something here with Jupiter, it's not growing, it's not expanding, it's not spiritually awakening you, it doesn't feed the spirit within you, then it's time to say, that's not for me. I've got to reassess my goals. I got to reassess my plans and all that. And we do, in the aspects that are showing in this, is the sale. Is this meeting, you're back at the beginning there. You're back reassessing something here because of that opposition. Something here in bondage. And what we have here is the trapezoid. What are you getting yourself stuck in your life? What is controlling you? Let me tell y'all something. and I don't care what this is. I don't care what it is at all. I will go with it again. A relationship, a partnership, a responsibility, or whatever it is, a job, duties, or whatever it is. We are all never. I've heard people say, well, I want my freedom. There is no freaking freedom. Unless you're a bum using people and you're sitting in a basement somewhere playing video games 24 hours a day. Or if you're using people to get your own needs met. Okay? And you're creating your own things because you won't face the red flags and you're going out and spending money you don't have money to spend on. Like you're living it up like I'll worry about that tomorrow. I'll worry about that next month. Or I'll wait till I get the cutoff notice. I mean, really? Grow up. I mean, I'm just, y'all just don't know. I started my day off real good, and then I saw this coming, and I'm like, ugh, oh. Because like I said, and the reason I feel that way is because you're talking to somebody who went and hit rock bottom several years ago. And I have to take responsibility. I saw the red flags when Pluto entered into my into Capricorn. Into that house of Capricorn for me. I'm a Virgo, so you figured out. In my house of relationships and love affairs and children and all this. I wasn't out to control my relationship. I was letting everybody just do what they want to do. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. But it's because I wouldn't do, I guess, what everybody else wanted me to do, and I wouldn't allow them to control me. I got all the knives stuck in me. And I got everything just dumped on me. So you got to ask yourself, from the time I saw Pluto go in there in 2008, add 7 years to that, which would have been what, 2015? I started noticing things in 2010. I started noticing more in 2013. Then 2015 came and I went, oh crap. 2006, September the 1st, my life got torn all to hell. I saw it coming. But I thought, they're just having difficulty, this and that. So, and I'm like I'm saying, I fell on my knees. Do you know what it's like when you got everything put on you and you've got 6 months in which to do something? To get something done? Or you've lost your dream? Something you inspired to do? Something you had a goal? And if you don't do it within 6 months, you've lost it all? Man, I'm telling y'all ain't never seen nobody pray so hard in your life like I did. I mean, but I'm telling you, it's through God Himself that gave me the strength, that gave me the endurance, that picked me up off my knees, wiped my tears away, and said, I got your back. You do what you got to do because you know what you got to do. And you're going to succeed. And it was only in my faith and my belief that I can sit here today and say, He glorified me so I can glorify Him. Now, I'm going to tell you, that next 7 years was an easy road. I got denied several times, went through some stuff, went through the kangaroo court system, okay, for 7 years. You know, we're talking about this Jocelyn Wade and that Nathan Wade down in the DA and all that messing around down there. She's been going through something for 2 years. Well, honey, I'm sorry you've gone through what you've gone through for 2 years, but I went through shit for 7 years. And I went through pure hell. And if it wasn't through the faith and the glory of the divine and my faith in him that I know would pick me up, how can God has to glorify us so we can glorify him? He gives us our testament. He lets us be a witness to the miracles that he does. Now, a lot of y'all might say, hey, I just don't believe. Okay, that's fine. But I tell you what, he took me out of something that was pure darkness, pure evil, pure hell. And I can testify to what Pluto can do to you. Pluto is known, if you look at the Greek mythology of it, Pluto is known as the gate of hell. And it will put you there to make you come up and be strong, be authentic, and face anything in this world that you need to face. And it will put you through the hell. And if you can't make it, and you just give up, then that's on you. And you'll have to settle for what you end up with. But I'm not a settler. I'm not going to let somebody just steal my dreams and my goals and my ambitions and everything away from me. It doesn't matter. Whatever I want to accomplish in my life, or whatever I want to do in my life, I am a walking, living testament that I am going to accomplish to the best of my ability. And that's the way it is. I'm not going to get myself caught in a trap. Nope. So whatever that Chiron is, that key is, that you're in something here, whether it be the chains and bondage that you have settled for, it's time to free yourself. And I'm telling you, through my faith and my belief in my Creator, He will free you the chains that you are bound to. But I'm telling you, freedom doesn't come without a cost. And if you sat there in red flags and you see it all, and you see the darkness, you see something here that just is not right, and you settle for it, then it's on you. Don't be other people's doormat. Learn to say no. Can't help you. Now, there's one thing when you can be, sometimes people just need an ear to listen. Sometimes people do need a little help, a little lift me up. But for a 30-year-old man or a 35-year-old woman to be sitting in mama's house, mom and daddy's house, and mom and daddy paying the bills, oh, well, I'll go out there tomorrow and look for a job. I can't find anything. But you got money to go get your nails done because you're using some guy somewhere to do it because you're fooling him. Get out of your little gold digging self and quit thinking you some princess that needs to be kept up and protected. Really? You're not going to survive, honey, in your stilettos. And a lot of these separate celebrities, you can see them falling too right now. Nah. You better be one of a kind. The next thing we've got here, that one, I'm clicking on the wrong screen. We've got at 3, This was, the other one was at 2:20. This one's at 3:20 in the afternoon. And what we have here is dealing with the sun again, and the moon being in this opposition. But whatever this is that's creating with this sun of selling forward, it's definitely, like I said, it's that sale. Remember, you was building the sail to put on the ship to move forward. You were ready. Well, what the hell just happened? Did you skip something? Did you reassess something here? Did you talk to somebody and all of a sudden you got some negativity there and somebody, oh, I wouldn't do that, because the sun's at 13. So whatever your purpose is, keep it to your damn self. Whatever your goal is or your inspiration is, you might have people out there around you that seek you to do something they want you to do. They don't care about what you're seeking. They only want what they want. So all of a sudden, they just kind of broke your sail down. Or you saw something here wasn't going to work. Because the ascending is dealing now. Oh, I forgot to move it. It's in Cancer. So there's something here about the way you feel. Remember, every time I put this ascending into that's it, the sign it's in, and I put it in that first house, and this is about way you feel and where you're headed. And it has something here to do with your fourth house, something with the past, your home, your family, something you desire here that meets your sole purpose of what you want to accomplish for your future. You want to unlock this opportunity. You want to be successful. But there's something that's here that you got to deal with. And right now, the hour, we're in the 10th hour, and this is about the moon, and it is about how you feel. And you may feel good with something here because of with Pisces and with the ascending and where it's at, Cancer. You may feel some good about that you can control something or you can get away with something. But I'm going to tell you right now, with Saturn in Pisces, that's like karma. Whatever you're seeking, you might be getting karma on it. Because where that midheaven being in conjunction, you may be in some illusion. And somebody may be using you as their puppet. And you're being controlled by somebody else. Is that what you want? Fine. Sit in it. I don't care. Don't affect me. But I know me. If I'm sitting there and I'm being controlled by somebody else, and I'm meeting all their expectations, and none of mine's being filled, no, I got to go. Can't do it. Not what I want. Not what I live for. I want to be happy. And if whatever it is not making me happy, then it's time for me to just move on from it. If it's not creating that good vibe for me, sorry, I forgot to show you the aspect. But that sun, your sole purpose, and where you are right now, and how you feel at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, after 3 o'clock, are you meeting something here, or have you made a decision on what you're going to do? About what you desire. If you're sitting there saying, hey, I'm going to do this, I don't want to lose this, because that something there, where Vista's sitting at in that 12th house with Gemini, I don't want to lose this. You're thinking, I don't want this to be a loss, because 12th house is usually dealing with some sort of loss. What you believe. You believe you're losing something here. And I don't want to let it go. I want to hang on to it. I want to, I want to build that cell and move forward. But I know there's going to be some opposition, that I got to free myself from something here that I don't want. Always look at Chiron as something that is unhealthy, or the health of something, and it's like a key that you can free yourself from it. Whether it be a job, whether it be a responsibility that you don't want to take on from somebody else, maybe. I mean, it may hit them out of the blue. Maybe come as a surprise to them, like, oh, wait a minute, I thought we were doing good and everything was great. And, well, you got to be, you need to be honest. If it's not great, then you need to tell somebody it's not great. It's not where I want to be. I'm not, the business isn't going right with us. I'm not happy with, we can't seem to work together. Relationship, this or that. But these people that just leave relationships saying, I want my freedom, darling, let me tell you something. You can run them streets all you want to. You can do whatever you want to do. But guess what? You ain't never really free. And that freedom is going to cost you in some way. You might have had a goal and a plan to do something here. Like, well, if I get my freedom, I can go do this and I can go do that. And no, don't work that way. Because then let's say you're in a good solid relationship, and say, yeah, there might be some issues with it. You and the other person, you got different values, but you got to work through it. But if you're refusing to work through it, even in a partnership or a business partnership, there's going to be a clash of personalities. My brother and his partner was a fine example of it. My brother was a very responsible individual. He's passed many years now, but everybody loved him. He was very compassionate, very empathetic to other people. He tried his best to help everybody. He was honest. And he was one of those that just, women, when it come to women, he would get hurt. He would, be very supportive and everything else. And he was one of those that got taken every time you turn around. Until he realized, he found somebody he really, really, I think the last one before that one, he finally realized that, hey, I know what I've been dealing with now, and I don't want to deal with it anymore. I'm done with that. I've given it all I can give it, and it ain't working. So, you gotta make sure wherever you're going in the right place, and you're going there together, and you're both going to give it 100% in this relationship. One cannot control the other, but you can adjust and you can compromise. And that's what it's all about. If you love somebody deeply, you can compromise. It's like going out and choosing a place to go to dinner. What do you want? Well, unless you're a real picky person, I mean, you can compromise. We're going to have steak, we're going to have seafood, going to have Italian, whatever, or just go to a buffet and have a country dinner. It's, or you just decide to stay home and have a romantic dinner, save money. I mean, you can compromise on it. But, like I said, it takes both to do it, and both have got to put 100% in, or it's not going to work. Those days of, oh, I put my 50% in, you put your 50% in, whatever. No. Relationships, you can't give it 50%. You've got to give it 100%. You got to be really, really devoted. And honest. And trustworthy. You can't go into a relationship lying. It ain't going to last. I tell you. All right, next thing we got going on here. Again, we got the moon in Scorpio here. Still the same thing. It's still dealing with the cell. So we got from 3 to after 4 o'clock. I mean, actually from 2. Because you're trying to get out of some trap here. You don't want, you're trying to free yourself from something here. So this is like over 2 hours. Now we're in the 12th hour. Half the day is gone, and it's talking about Jupiter. Jupiter is the focus on this hour, even though this can be a very beneficial hour. And this is at 5:09. It's usually when everybody gets off at 5 o'clock or whatever. Again, it's talking about the sale. Your sole purpose on the day. You're getting things done here. You're moving in the right direction. Maybe you took care of, you compromised on something here and you set yourself free from it. And so you're ready to move forward. Then we have here with the sun at 5:54. The sun sets. Wait, you see these aspects. Remember that cell we had where everything looked good and you're just moving on and moving forward? Guess what? We have a mystical rectangle here popping up again. This is 2 trions, the walls, trions, 2 sextiles with an opposition right in the middle. And the ascending is in Leo. So something here, let me move that. We've gone from Cancer now to Leo. The night's moving in. It's going to be ruled by Mars, and this 13 hours is by Mars as well. Even though the day is being ruled by Venus. Feel that capacity to love or something here. And you're trying to move forward. Finishing up the day. And then you hit that mystical rectangle. Something here about the drive, the energy, the courage, the opposition to the sun. Now, the sun is descending, right? It's over here in the dissension. It's over here in the 7th house. And you say you're headed home or you're at home. There's something about you not having the energy to deal with something over here in that 7th house. You're opposed to something here. That has to deal with the future and the past. And you just going along with something here. That's getting a fire lit here. Because what does air do to fire? It lights it, right? It just explodes. Now, again, the mystical rectangle. This is, if you've been watching, that's that Lucifer's rectangle. Something's coming up that's going to create something here that could, with this negative energy, it could cause this explosion that sets you off about something that you feel like maybe you oppose it. Because we do have a T-square here. Now you're going along smooth. Everything's going okay. Then you're hitting this, but there's this T-square. See where it is? It's what you feel in your home. That here you've got a square to the sun. Not meeting your purpose here in relationship. something about yourself, something about you that's getting ready to pop a cork. I'm going to say that because you're opposed and in opposition to something here, something being illuminated. And Lord, does Lucifer get set loose? We got somebody put the fuel on the fire, and it just, phew. There is no, like, I'm feeling like something here, there is no compromise. It'd be like, honey, what are we going to eat for dinner? Well, you've been home all day. Why don't you fix something? Either partner, been home all day, ain't done nothing. Why ain't you done something? What are we going to eat? And the other person just kind of maybe explodes. And it just sets things off. And I feel like you've been dealing with this before. This is not something new. Because then, look at it. There's an opposition to the key. Remember what I said? You're in some type of obsessive, controlled. It's not successful here. I mean, it's fire and air. You know, they say those two elements get together, you know, but it's kind of like an explosion. Because why? Because Mars rules this. And Mars can be very aggressive. And somebody could just attack somebody, because we're talking about Lucifer's rectangle, you know, being in this with the key here, something unhealthy or something of health, that what you seek is not healthy. And you just want to get away from it. You want to take that key and just unlock it and say, I'm done. I'm through. Not meeting something here. You know, there comes a point in time that you don't go along with it. Now, again, like I said, look what Mercury is hooked up to. Pluto. And what did I say Pluto was? It's the transformationer. It's the transformer. It will create hell in your life. And it ain't even got a degree yet, but it's still connected over here, because there's something with Saturn, because Saturn co-rules this with Uranus, and there is that quincunx. I feel like somebody here is going to start something to get out of something. Sorry, but that's just because right after that comes the T-square. Somebody ain't feeling it. There's an illumination. You got the two illuminators squaring one another with an opposition. Because what's going on, this coming up, and the sun's over here. So the partner, either you're setting the partner off or the partner's setting you off. And this could be something here where, with Mars conjunct to Mercury, or that energy being fed off of Mars. Now, Mercury's in conjunction with, is feeding off of this energy here. Aggressiveness. And look where it's squaring. Venus, squaring over here in the North Node. Mars, squaring over here as well. To me, it's like a time bomb that's fixing to pop. It's like a bomb goes off. It's like the lights are on. You're not in the dark anymore. Unless somebody didn't pay the light bill. But look at Venus. Negativity. I mean, somebody here's like, this cycle is done. It has reached its peak. Because you take 11, there's a cycle of 11, there's another cycle of 11. Say there's a cycle of 11 weeks, 11 months, where maybe everything's been good, and then all of a sudden you start noticing things, the more you start noticing, that peak rises, that tension rises, and then all of a sudden it hits that, and then things start to decline. Oh, well, the honeymoon period's over, huh? And then all of a sudden, bam, that bomb goes off. And somebody's jumping down somebody's throat, giving them hell. Where you been? Oh, you been out drinking? I've been sitting here waiting on you all day long. I mean, gosh, I couldn't, no, I can't, I couldn't live in that. No way, Jose. Can't do it. So expect something this evening. You better get your ducks in a row. And that's at 5:54, right before 6 o'clock on the Eastern Standard Time. So you figure out your time from my time. Now the next thing we have this moon, and I'm telling you, the moon in Scorpio. Oh my gosh, this can be like vengeance, saith the Lord. Oh God, that's Mars and Pluto ruling this where the moon is at. The moon is in a fall right now. So I'm saying somebody's not feeling something here in the home. Somebody doesn't have that energy or something. Something is being illuminated here between the 1st, 4th, and 7th house. And that is about your relationship. And that's your first red flag showing up here with Pluto just in Aquarius saying, hey, guess what? Whatever this is, it's going to be going through hell for some time. And it's going to come back into this house at the end of the year. And it's like, okay, I got to put some work into something here. Or you may put a little work in it, but I ain't going to put work in it long. And I'm going to move on. Time for me to go. I'm telling you. All right, let's see. Again, I think we just talked about that. The moon squaring that. Okay. Now let's go ahead and go with this moon in Scorpio squaring the sun. And this is at 6:17. So this might be 45 minutes of a hell argument, aggression. And I'm still seeing here, an hour later, it's still going on. Somebody's walking into a hornet's nest this afternoon. Or they're moving the hell away from something, moving out of something. Let's go over to the aspects on this. See? Oh, you just moving along, thinking everything's going good. Maybe you're trying to ignore somebody here. There's that mystical rectangle. Something here's stewing. That Lucifer's rectangle. And the T-square. That now, where it was here with the moon, now it's all of a sudden here. Somebody's enlightenment. Somebody's getting some enlightenment here. Remember where it was with the moon? The apex was the moon? That this T-square was supposed to, what you felt? Something about the relationship is becoming very clear. And there's problems. Something's got to change because now this sun is squaring the midheaven and it's squaring to what you feel, the moon. And there's an opposition. That's dealing with this Capricorn or Taurus energy. This is where you're really seeing the values don't match. You're not in sync with somebody. And now it's at 13. Look at them, all 3 and 13. 13, 13, 13. There's a lot of damn negativity here. Maybe it's because somebody don't get the money. Somebody's not getting what they want. They say, oh, well, maybe somebody here's thinking, he's coming home or she's coming home. And it's Friday, it's payday, and blah, blah, all this. And, I need my money. And, and I want to go out. I want to party. I want to have a good time. Blah, 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 all this. And a person comes home and they're tired. Or maybe they didn't get the money they needed. Now, like I said, the nighttime is ruled by Mars, and the hour is the 13th hour. I mean, come on. Can you not see this? There is so much here. Heck yeah, Lucifer's doing this number. Satan's got his hand in this. This ain't God's hand. This is Satan's hand. And somebody's going to get caught in some sort of trap. Somebody works all day. They come home. Somebody wants to go out and have a good time, wants to party. Oh, let's go party. Oh, let's go here. Let's go there. And somebody's like, look, I didn't get paid today. Depending on what kind of job you got, or something was short, or, I don't know. I don't know how somebody, maybe you're running low on money. I don't know. Maybe you're just getting money and somebody knows, okay, it's first of the month. You get your check and, and boom, all of a sudden, they're wanting money. They're dipping their fingers in your pocket. Want to go out. Why can't we go do this? Why can't we go do that? Spending money maybe that needs to go on bills, because there is a responsibility here with Taurus. You got light bill, you got maybe the rent's due, or something else he was doing, and no, I you can't. And somebody gets pissed off because they're not getting what they want. Well, this ain't going nowhere. Really? If you don't have a good partner in life, I feel sorry for you. I really do. Because if you got a bad partner, you need to put that down the road. Because now I feel like the mind now in this trapezoid that's happening here at this time, the mind's getting activated, and it's like, this is not what I want for my future. It's dealing with the North Node. You're really looking at something here unhealthy for your future. You don't feel like this is going to be successful. Even though there's a trying here to this coming up, you're trying to be maybe, what are you going to do for Valentine's Day? Where are you going to take me? Where are you going to, come on. Or I want to go on a trip. Well, whatever it is something here that's being illuminated, that's negative, and that's usually an influence of Neptune, the glamour, and look at all the oppositions that's coming off of what you feel over here about your job, your career, your resources, or whatever it is, or your values. This is mostly the values, but the 10th house deals with resources you have and how you have to live, and you've got to depend on those resources. And if you're letting people come in and just blow it, and so you've got to reevaluate something here. You've got to really open your mind up and say, with this Mars and a quincunx over here, no, I don't have it. And you know what? Then you're going to find out what this person really is about. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm Leo ascending. I might be a Virgo sun, but I'm a Leo ascending. And I will roar like a lion, and I will stand up with the courage and say, no, I don't have it. Because I've got things I have to be responsible for. I have to be conservative. And I'm just not going to go out there and just waste my money on frilly little things. Sure, I'd love to go get my nails done. Sure, I'd love to go get a haircut. Sure, I'd love this. But I don't have it, so I got to do it myself. I'm a responsible person, and there's an opposition to what this is with the self over here. Especially, Lord have mercy, if you have, Leo in your chart as your ascending or your sun sign, that somebody here is going to blow up at you. About something. They're not going to just, if you just go along with it, with the red flag you're seeing and all this negativity that's there, and you've got these negative thoughts, I mean, it's like a red flag that God's the pilot here, and he's, with the red flags on the dock or on the deck, and he's trying to, guide the airplane in, and, with that sail, trying to get you coming in at the right direction, and everything's good. And, and it's like all of a sudden, bam, something steals the flags, and it's like, explosion. So then your weekend goes all to hell. Or for you, it may be good for you because you can feel like all of a sudden a burden's been lifted off of you, and that key has unlocked you out of something. Because it's not meeting with your purpose. You weren't really devoted to it anyway. I don't see it. I don't see it. Because of that T-square. You're waking up to something. I mean, this is not woke. This is waking. And you just don't want to go along with the program anymore. And I've been like that. I will say I have been like that. I don't want, after a while, and I keep noticing the same patterns over and over and over again, I'm not going to keep going with it. And everything is moving forward now. And this is where we need to move forward and don't fall in the pitfalls of what is hell. I've been there. I don't want to go back, and I'm trying to help others to look at this and say, no. You do what you got to do. If you're a good, responsible person, then keep it going. Keep it rolling. Now, again, we have the creating the cell. And I'm telling you, with the ascending now being in Virgo, you don't play with a Virgo. I'm telling you, don't play around with a Virgo. Because a Virgo will hurt your feelings. They'll be very cynical. They will be very critical. They will say hell to the no. And it's just in there at 1 degree. And look what it's doing. It's at a quincunx with the ascending Mercury. Or I'm sorry, that's Pluto, right? Yeah. Now, this is interesting for me because, like I said, I'm a Virgo sun. Pluto, at the time of my birth, was right where that ascending is. So that, for me, is like that quincunx of I have to have a courage to make some sort of decision here. So this will affect me to say at 7, quarter after 7, that I may have to have a courage to make some decision here that, hey, I'm done with something. I'm done with something from the past. I need to change. I'm at this point in my life right here, okay, where I'm a grown woman. 28 is the number for woman. 6 is the number for man. 7 is the number for the divine, the unity. you know, this being at 0, don't play around with a Virgo, because this is not a good thing to do, because they will tell you in a heartbeat, and they're not going to be nice about it. Don't play with them. And I am no dummy. I'm just not one to, and like I said, the night's ruled by Mars, and there is that, square from Mars. And it's the 14th hour in the sun, so it's something about the soul purpose here. So, you Virgos, I would kind of caution you on something here, because here, something past going future, you want to just go to this smooth sail. Don't interfere in my plans. Don't interfere in this or that. I'm one that just wants that smooth sailing. I don't want to have to have a tug of war or something like that. I'm free to do whatever I want to do, go what I want to go. I'm happy go lucky. I've got my purpose, something I want to devote myself to. But I've got to take it at a looking at what I have to what I need to do, and work within my means to accomplish something here. And if somebody comes in and disrupts that would be like my desk. I've got everything set just the way I want it. Don't come over here messing on my desk. That will tick me off. Because this is definitely dealing with what your purpose is. The sun, your interpersonal purpose, your inner drive, and your energy, the source of your will and self-motivation. You have a free will to motivate yourself and get it going. Your sense of confidence, strength, your individuality, and your creativeness. Being creative. I mean, I created my own thing at the beginning that you've seen, that you're going to see in the end of this. So, so again, like I said, it's that sail you're working toward. So it's with Virgo, wherever Virgo may be for you. I know where it is for me. So something, that I just don't want to get into any disputes, any arguments. I'm not getting in any conflicts or anything like that. And I don't want it coming in my door. Now, the next thing we have is the moon rises. Now, you may find this is kind of weird, because I did too. But it's nothing new, because the moon is waning now, meaning it's going in that dark phase. You really don't see it. And it's setting up for the new moon in Aquarius, which will be the new lunar cycle. So you're not really seeing it, and it's rising after midnight. If you see anything of it. I mean, I know we were in the third quarter yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Somewhere in there. So right now, it's kind of waning, meaning that it's that energy where it was the full moon is kind of coming off. It's wearing off. You still have the desire. Now it's the ascending is gonna skip Libra altogether, and we're going into Scorpio. So let's go over to, I think it was, let's go back a minute. Let me go back one. See, it went from here. I mean, woof. I mean, it was an hour, and that ascending moved very quickly to where after midnight now, it passed that South Node, and now it's in Scorpio, which is at 210 degrees. And you see now it's coming into the moon there. Again, we still have that sail showing up, which you can see. Still with the South Node and the North Node, Sun, and your sole purpose in life. What you going to devote yourself to? You still devoting, you may be working out some plans here that you're going to start, because usually with the new moon, that's when we set intentions towards something, and then when the first quarter of the moon begins, that's when you start implementing some things. And I've already been doing that, so I'm kind of a little ahead of the game, which is good, I guess. But we do have the sale here. This time of night, I'm usually in bed right after midnight or shortly before that. And then we have the T-square, and you can see it's something from the past here. Again, you just settling through. And then we have the T-square, which has to do with Venus. Venus being at 13 degrees. And it's in a square to Chiron, that key of the 6th house, which is a daily routine. I know my daily routines, your daily routines may be done and over with the opposition to the South Node, Venus squaring the South Node. Remember, and an opposition from the North to the South, or Chiron to the South Node, freeing something from the past. A new beginning towards something. I mean, it is the end of the week, and so, whatever's going on for the weekend, I don't know what your plans may be, but you do what you got to do, boo, and I do what I do. The next thing we got the moon in Scorpio still. And this baby here, and it's in opposition to Chiron. The moon is. So it's something with Scorpio being here. What in the world? What is that time? Oh, I see what I did. Okay, let's go back. Because I jumped ahead on something. I misplaced something here. Hold on a minute. I still misplaced it. What is that? Yeah, this should have been before the moon rises. Okay. That's why I skipped. That's what was the problem when I said it didn't skip it. It didn't skip Libra. I'm sorry. I had something in the wrong place. I catch myself sometimes. It didn't skip it. See, there's the sail. Now this is usually where it's also, the sail is sometimes often referred to as the kite. Here. But when it's the kite, it has the trine, the grand trine, or the trine hooked up to it. But since it's not here, it's just a sail. It means like you're just moving towards something of the future here. But there may be something, you're not quite ready to move into it, into that purpose. because you're still thinking about something. You're activating your mind, still activated about the future. You're uncertain here. Maybe reviewing those plans again. What action you're going to take? Now, this is where I made my mistake. Okay, with the square, the apex of it is Mars. What action you're going to take? This is like at 11 o'clock. That's dealing with the North Node, your future, 7th house. So you Libras could be dealing with something in the future, some action you want to take here. Maybe sort of aggressive, but it's a challenge. And it has something to do here with the ascending as well, something of the past. Because as that ascending goes over that South Node, there's something you're doing here that you may have a little uncertainty to do something here. But how you handle this square will show what you're like on the inside. If you step up to do something here and you handle this challenge, even though there's an opposition to it, it can maybe lead to some success. But it's totally up to you. Like I said, you got the free will. And it may be exactly how you're feeling right now and how you're thinking, how your emotions, or, because we're talking about Cancer and we are talking about the moon, you may be doing something here completely out of character, I would say. But you got to make this tough decision. Am I going to do it? And you got to have the courage to do it. It would be like, best way I can kind of see this. I'm looking at the cells here, at the cell in the T-square. The best way I can look at this is something here, and when this is ascending, it's in conjunction with the past. Remember, it's over here, and then it moves, it gets right at it, same degrees, and it's only 3 degrees off. And there's something here that you may want to do about the future, but you're not quite sure. Whether to take that action and do it. Because we have this ending at 21 and we have Vista at 21. So you're trying to, and then with the T-square here, okay, it has to deal with Mars. And it's connected to the nose and what's coming up. Now, it would be like if you were sitting there, and let's say you want to talk to someone. Let's say you wanted to be with somebody. Say somebody was on your mind or something like this, and it's late at night, and you're like, do I call this person or not? Well, what are they going to do? They're going to do one of two things. They're either going to answer the phone, and this could be successful because the hour that's ruling this is the moon, and it is being driven by our emotions, and the moon is in a square to the sun, and it's in a square to Uranus. So should you do something here kind of unexpectedly? With Uranus being in a quincunx to the South Node? Should you do something that's kind of unexpected? And maybe make that phone call? Or maybe there's something, you didn't finish up and you say, well, I need to do this. I feel like I need to do this. I mean, this could be where, really Spirit's working on your feelings. And do I listen to what I feel? Do I listen to what my heart says? Do I take this action or do I not do it? It's like, why not? I mean, unless I don't know. But again, Now the nodes are retrograde again. Remember, they were direct. I said they would be direct today for 11 hours. And then, because there's something you need to do about the past that's going to concern your future, and we saw what was going on, so you needed to deal with something there, and then it's like, well, do I do this? And do I call that person and say something? You know, I mean, I'm looking at the nodes, the lunar nodes, and they're showing me that, yeah, you can have a new beginning here. You can have some victory and success at something here, but it's going to be up to you whether you take that action or not. I mean, let's say it, like I said, you're going to call somebody and you're debating it. And say you did make that phone call. But, well, either one or two things. They're either not going to answer the phone, or if they answer the phone, they could be successful. It's totally up to you. But it's the nighttime. It's ruled by Mars. You've got to decide: am I going to do this or not do it? But from what I'm looking at, yeah, emotionally, I mean, I feel like the spirit's telling you to do something here. But it's up to you whether you're going to do it or not. Nobody can make you do it. Now, this is where I kind of got screwed up, because this other one was at, come on. This is at 11:15. When the moon rises, that's after midnight. So if you make that phone call, maybe you talk to somebody for an hour here, and it goes okay. Because I've got this, the cell going here, that one I was talking about earlier. There is that T-square. Maybe there is some communication. Somebody's opening their heart up. Maybe somebody here is trying to heal some wounds. But I'm saying, I'm looking at a thing here where somebody, I'm just going to stick with that because I just feel it really strong. Somebody that could be having in a bad relationship, it blows up, is over, you're done with it, whatever, and you let it go. You've unlocked the key, like I said. Remember everything I was showing. You don't want to go along with this anymore. You don't want to get caught in a trap. You don't, So all of a sudden, you're thinking about somebody, you're calling them, you want to call them, and you're maybe timid to do so. You don't know whether to take that action or not. I'm saying I think it would be, and I feel this really deeply because I feel like the spirit is what's moving this, that, and the ascending being here now, where it was in Libra, at the 11 o'clock hour, and now it's after midnight, you may have a conversation with somebody for about an hour. If you make that phone call. If you're willing to communicate now, because the third house is usually ruled by Gemini, and it's something about what you have, what you feel. And again, with the ascending being there, you could be going into something really, if you do it, you take that action and you do it, you could have some success here. Because I'm feeling, whatever it was, you're doing something here that's shocking, out of character. You do know something here will grow. There is something here that you had Because remember, you released yourself from something here that wasn't good. And now you know that there is some sort of desire you have within you to have again. And that's what I'm looking at as this moon rises. And this is right after midnight. So I'm saying somewhere between 11, a little after 11, you could talk to somebody 45 minutes, you could talk to somebody for an hour, and it makes you feel good. And you have an honest discussion. Like I said, what are they going to do? They're either going to do one or two things. They're either going to not answer the phone, or they're going to answer the phone and shock the shit out of you. And then you have a nice conversation or whatever for 45 minutes to an hour. And you feel kind of good. It makes you feel better. Somebody opens up to maybe hear something, you know, or they do something so unexpected. I don't know, but there's one more thing here with this moon being in Scorpio, that there's, you know, let me take that off for a minute. There's an opposition with the moon to Uranus because somebody here is doing something totally unexpected. And the ascending now, and this is like 4:54 in the morning. So there's something else that went on here while the ascending was going through here, and it was having to really deal with this moon. But something, let's go with, I really didn't pick up on anything really, really heavy, you know, because I went through the hours and between, you know, midnight to then, and I really didn't see anything, you know, major. And then we have the ascending that's going into Capricorn, and this will be just, maybe you get a good night's sleep. I don't know. Maybe this conversation can maybe help you sleep and rest at ease. I mean, that's totally up to you. Like I said, I didn't see anything major because, like I said, the moon was ascending up. It was after midnight. And the only thing that's here is South Node, where you're at right now, and the moon up. Everything else is underneath. You can't, you know, what you don't know what's going on. But we do have, with this final aspect at 4 something in the morning before we start on the 3rd, we do have this sale, which maybe, like I said, all of a sudden you find something here that brings some sort of peace, or it kind of lights something up in you. It calms you. Again, this Venus energy kind of heals you some with Capricorn. It brings in some sort of assurance, or you feel something here, that something can be successful. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But like I said, I really feel like that late tonight there's going to be something there. It's going to be explosive. I know that. There's going to be something that's going to just can blow. And you may be uncertain about it. And you just freed yourself from something that you felt like you needed to free yourself from. And it's like, you know, like pop goes the weasel. I don't know. It gives you back some sort of control. Whereas maybe you felt so out of control. Because Aries, Aries is that, the self. You were where you maybe were very out of control. And you took back your free will and said, I'm done with something here. I mean, we're going to have some movement going on this month. It's going to be major movement that's going to happen. I mean, we got all this over here that's going to be moving into Aquarius over here. And then the sun's going to move into Pisces, and then Pisces will be, Pisces season. Right now we're in the middle of winter, you would say. Because winter doesn't end until March, mid-March, and then we go into the spring. So I feel kind of good about this. I feel like by late tonight, you could end something on a positive note, take a negative thing and it gets turned around into something positive and successful. That's totally up to you. Like I said, I really feel like there's something here where somebody wants to call somebody, but, they're uncertain. They don't know. Should I call? Should I not call? But like I said, what are they going to do? They're going to do one of two things. They're either going to hang the phone up or they're going to answer it. But you got to be willing to take the action to do something. So, anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. And I appreciate you all being here. But I'm going to finish up. And like I said, I will be doing the posting the be working on the cardinal signs first, and then tomorrow I'll be doing the fixed signs, and then the next day I'll be doing the mutable signs. So I got to get busy because I got things I've got to do, y'all. All right, I love y'all. Thank you so much. I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I know I'm gonna be busy working, so get my thing going here. Ooh, that was a long one. So anyway, I will see y'all on the other side. Okay? All right. Bye for now.